Hi everybody, it's Maiden. It's November 30th, 11/18, and we're going to do the CBS follow-up now. I did a couple other videos. I hope you guys enjoy the music on the first video. Second video, I needed to go slow or cut that because my power was off. Now I got my power back, so let's do it. Okay, we're going to do 6 stories, all human interest stories, national security issues, every single one of them, okay? They all have to do with human value encroachment, human value violations on some level, and they're very important to understand that the national security issue is in every single one of them. Okay, the first story I want to speak about is the ICBM Hawk missile in North Korea. And there is a issue. Nikki Haley said that we're now closer to war. Now, when I look at things through a forensic eye, I look at the way things are written. I look at the way things are numerically orientated and presented, and I look at the actual subject matter and the jurisdictions they're in first, and then we go from there. Okay, so this one is about weapons, okay? Now, the weapons has a portfolio, has an international portfolio. You can find it with the UN, or you can find it with the International Monetary Fund is probably doing a lot of the money for the weapons for all over the world, really. So the individual weapons, how the index of them are, this particular one is an ICBM Hawk. And when you do some of the forensics on this, you can find an investment certificate bond being monetized, okay? When you see the word monetization, it means that it's being positioned to be cashed out or to have dividends be maturized, and you know, there's a maturization date that things get monetized, or it's in a constant of monetization. Sometimes the monetization is just going on, and sometimes the monetization is coming at a specific date, so that there's a cash out or a payoff or something like that. This is a bond that is connected to this particular ICBM, okay? And then the Hawk is another entity on the books of the weapons, and that it was referring to the heir account of the kings of the world, okay? Who has benefited most from war? The kings of the world, okay? The oldest to the newest, but the oldest get the biggest cut, okay? So you need to look into your historical war revenues to kings, and you will find your evidence of what I'm telling you is true. Okay, so the ICBM Hawk is an old bond portfolio issue. North Korea is poor. I tried to tell you yesterday that there is kind of a fear-based mentality will lead you to inaccurate assessments of who is your enemy, okay? And if we were really an enemy that Kim Jong-un is saying we are to him, we would have bombed him when he was unarmed to fight back, okay? You know, so his assessment of America is inaccurate in terms of we being so driven to assault them. That is not the truth. But we will defend on this level that he's now posturing about. It's very immature. Very, very immature. Okay. So that's that. Number 2, key story on national security is the women being sexually harassed, and it's coming out in the media. It's coming out in who's on television, who's in Hollywood, who's actually been given fame and fortune. Okay, these are the ones that that even the leaders above them, because these are their producers are above them. Their directors are above them. Their owners of the networks are above them. These owners have stuff going on in their lives because they have known this has been going on, and they have turned a blind eye. And now they're using the ones who have the fame and the fortune in front of the cameras to target, to call them on their issues, which are real. And I'm not negating that. But I'm challenging, if you are pushing somebody below you to take it in the neck for this issue on your network, when it's really you, you need to man up. You need to man up. Okay? You got to stop putting the lower guy in front of you and using them as a shield to take your hit. You just take it. Okay? So I want to just say that the women that have been harassed, God is giving you guys vindication. God is trying to bring you forward in a brand new confidence and security that you can be all that you can be, your best in journalism, in this case, or in the Hollywood industry as an actress, or in the music industry as a singer, or, as an artist. God is trying to bring women forward and reassure you, we've got you. You're covered. You can be powerful now. It's okay. Okay? Now, women, I want to challenge you if you've been victimized, and I am one that has been victimized, but the healing came in my life through Jesus Christ. Okay? And every single day He holds me in every way that has been a violation in my life. But He has supernaturally just brought the balm of Gilead. You can read about it in the Bible, and it's a balm that God brings into your life that it's a balm that takes away even all the scars, like as though it never ever happened to you. Now, I do have to be very careful as far as intimacy is concerned, because of some of the stuff that's happened to me, sexual predatory stuff that's happened to me as a child. So it really did injure me physically. And it's been very hard. I've been married 4 times, very misunderstood in a lot of ways that, God has brought healing for. But still, the journey is what it is when you've been molested, when you've been raped, when you've been overcome, and physically really, really hurt. So I want to challenge all you women to go get therapy, to find a good, to please try to trust in the love of God, that you would reach out to God in prayer and trust Him with your life, because He will never, ever, ever hurt you. He'll never lie to you. He will only love you and bless you and minister to you if you open up your life to Him in your own personal relationship with Him, okay? Get a Bible, okay? And just start kind of giving yourself some time with God, your Creator, to bring some healing into your life. He is the great physician, okay? In the Word of God, He is the great physician. Okay, in addition to that, physical healing, therapy healing, I want to challenge you to forgive your attackers or these predators that have hurt you. I want you to strive to forgive them, okay? And it doesn't mean you have to trust them or let them touch you or be near them, but you need to really work in your own privacy of your heart to forgive them. And that will also help bring healing to your life, okay? So this issue of a sexual promiscuity, this sexual abuse issue has to do with the Society of America. And the Society of America, again, has been very, very much promoting freedom. So there is this dichotomy of what is free, what is abuse, what is free and what is completely out of control, what is free but what is evil and wicked, and what is free and what is destructive and completely divisive and filled with strife and division, and what is free but what is stealing, and what is robbery, and what is all of that. So our Constitution did not, when it says that we the people, for the people, by the people, and it's for all to be equal, it doesn't the people, even before God, are separated from everything else, okay? The people are separated from sin. The people are separated from even their clothes or anything they own. You can't take it to heaven, okay? So God separates you 100% from materialism and everything that is subpar to your majesty of who you are inside. God separates you from all of those influences, good and bad. So you will stand butt naked before God when you pass away and you wake up. You're right there. God has got you right there. Okay? And what he's looking for is the relationship you had with him when you were here with me on this earth together, all of us together. That's what God is going to be wondering. What did you do with me when you were alive? What was your attitude towards me when you were alive? And I am trying to tell you that should be your priority, okay? Because God is not a bummer. He's not in the ghetto. He's not in the affordable housing. He's not doing welfare in heaven. He goes, I'm leaving here. I'm going to prepare a place for you. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. It's not subpar, guys. It describes heaven. And in heaven, there is amazing, amazing riches and wealth. And the streets are made of gold and golly, So my point is, wrap your arms around the fact that 1 Peter 2, 9, and 10 is your true identity if you will activate that by your faith. And it says right there in black and white, we are holy, royal monarchy of heaven on the earth, here to be a blessing, to find God, be empowered by what provisions he gave us through his son Jesus Christ, breaking all curses. Poverty is a curse, okay? Breaking all curses and letting us live in the freedom of the fruit of the Spirit and the manifestations of the blessing and the substance therein that he has left provisions for us to have. And that is in the stewardship of Israel, in the stewardship of Britain, in the stewardship of all these hidden trusts of America behind the Delaware structures. So the women, again, please be careful because when you've been abused, you can get really snarly. You can get really salty and you can get a really bad attitude and just be a witch with a B all over the place. And God doesn't want that for you. He can see that you've been through a lot. But we all have. We all have our sad story. And God wants us to get beyond it and be strong. He says, you're more than a conqueror. You're not just a survivor. You're more than a conqueror. He has for you. You are beautiful before him. Okay? So we all as women need to pull up our big girl panties, and just say, okay, I'm going to get beyond this. I'm not going to be a quitter. I'm not going to be a whiner. I am going to go get help. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to get my confidence back. I'm going to get my mojo back. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be cool. And you can just be you and be powerfully you, okay? Because you are fabulous. You're in there, okay? All right, the third story is about Prince Harry. And not just Prince Harry, but I want to go into this perpetuity again. It's called the Perpetuity Evaluation. It's my campaign for president. It's all of my research. It's everything that I am always about. And American citizenship is a great, big, fat deal. Okay, it really is. And Holy Royal Monarchy of Heaven lines up with the holy bonds of matrimony. It is the one bond in America that when you get married, you are stepping into that exact bond of ecclesiastical jurisdiction. But they're invalidating the bond on some level and disrespecting the bond in America because when you get married in the municipal court and by a magistrate judge. But it is a disrespect because the bond that is issued is a holy bond of matrimony. Now, that particular bond being disrespected, is on the books, and it does open up the finance of the judicial, contract, whatever, that you guys are going to do, Meghan and, in this case, Prince Harry. Now, let's go back to Grace Kelly. She's of the same sector of Kelly, okay, Grace Kelly. and she came out of Hollywood. Meghan Markle's coming out of Hollywood. She was an actress. Meghan Markle's an actress. She was an American actress, and she married a tycoon in Greece. And let me think. Okay, yeah. So right now, Brad Pitt is courting, I heard, I don't know if it's true, but he's courting the same royal family, and he's of the same sector too, Hollywood actor. So there is a with the hierarchy of these players, shadow players or deep state players, they are called to go and do stuff that they don't really want to do. They're just having to follow the perpetuity books to keep that bond alive. All right? You have to do the same thing with a different person to keep the bond alive. You got to do the same war effort on some other way to keep the bond alive. Do you see what I'm trying to say? To keep a bond alive, you've got to keep the issue, the topic of the bond alive on some level. So Grace Kelly opened up that book of having a monarchy so if anybody, rich or poor, great or small, is an American and they marry a foreign person, they are giving citizenship to that person, okay, through that holy bond of matrimony in the highest jurisdictions. So that allows, if they have disclosure, and a lot of these royals do, and they know how to do this, they know how to come into the country, and they know how to attach to bonds, and they know how to bring their fortunes over, and very silently and quietly just really do some major moving and negotiations and finance that usurps others so that they can have that priority position. Okay, case in point is the Federal Reserve. Nobody knows who owns them. So it could be Greece, and it could be, because Grace Kelly came, she brought the Greece fortune here. Then we've got Jacqueline Kennedy, who married the Onassis fortune, and that too opened up her husband to be an American citizen and have access in ways that had a lot of people didn't have disclosure what was going on with that. Okay, the mere fact that the Federal Reserve will not disclose their owners shows me that there's places for very, very, very powerful people to funnel their money through, and nobody even know that they're using that as a conduit of laundering their money and taking priority positions where America, we the people, the boss, the true boss, doesn't even know what they're doing. Okay? And there's been a huge disrespect here. So I'm not just saying Prince Harry. I'm saying that America, we the people, hello, I'm giving you notice, Congress, House of Representatives, Federal Reserve, pharmaceutical industry, insurance companies, that it isn't okay anymore just to shut us out. Don't tell us what's going on. Don't show us who's the owners of major, major hubs of our power, which is our commerce. Okay? Whoever's, that isn't okay, and it just needs to stop. Okay? So if Prince Harry does marry Meghan Markle, it's all very beautiful and romantic, I agree. But on the bigger side of this, we're talking major asset portfolios coming together for America and Britain. And right now, there's a question if the British throne is legitimately being held, because DNA is not jiving with that, okay? But nobody has said anything, all right? So America legitimizes the royalty because Meghan Markle can DNA to the African-American bloodline is like, the Indian, the Native American Indians, all right, or the Aztecs, Mexican Indians, which is what, here in the United States. So if there was ever a question about legitimization of perpetuity, Meghan Markle, who looks like the little one, she's actually the one with all of the, blood to be able to legitimize things over there. You know what I mean? I hope you guys can follow what I'm trying to say. Okay. So on the books, it is a different deal than this romantic, let's get together thing. And for Grace Kelly, it was a big deal. And, why Princess Diana got killed is because somebody in the monarchy of England did not want the royalty monarchy of Egypt to be fused together into the books of Britain. Okay, see, they know. They know. You fuse together, it's different. Marrying into a no-name little girl. She doesn't really know who she is. Okay, this looks good. We can do this. But you get a whole monarchy to marry another monarch. Yeah, no, negative. I have not seen that. But that is exactly what's going on with this perpetuity issues. All of America is royalty. All of America is royalty. Hello, the Native Americans, everyone who's been disrespected the most is the most royal. The African Americans, the Mexican Americans, the Native Americans. Hello, can we please wake up? I would appreciate it, okay? Because you guys, this has all been backwards, okay? Because of aristocracy, okay? So we're going to show, we're not going to have a revolution, we're going to have an evolution. Evolution is more of an intellectual understanding of a better way to do it, okay, than breaking windows and anarchy in the streets that doesn't prove anything. We're just going to do this instead. It's a better idea. It's a better ROI. I have spent since 2001 with God on this to bring it forward now. Okay. So the next story, number 4, pharmaceutical industry. I want to say thank you for the prompt response, the speedy response in getting somebody on that opioid. I believe it is President Trump's advisor, the blondie, beautiful one, the first one that was on. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. So President Trump gave her the opioid issues to go after them, but you guys need to cover her, protect her, make sure she's got a good team, because these guys are rascals. I'm telling you, they're rascals, and they love to retaliate. What they like to do when somebody steps on their toes is they go fill up mosquitoes with diseases and set them free. They do stuff, really underhanded stuff. So you need to protect her. You know who I'm talking about. Kelly, no, I can't, I'm so sorry. I don't remember names like that fast they're not in my notes. Okay, so I want to thank you, though, President Trump, for the very, very speedy response on the opioid thing. I want to go back to the pharmaceutical industry and tell you that your commercials are so damaging psychologically to the American people, we the people who are your boss, because how you depict the American citizen is sick, diseased, weak, dumb, blind, deaf, decrepit, tired, depressed, ineffectual, dependent, stupid. And then you've created the atmosphere with your substances, dude. And so when in reality the atmosphere is controlled by your pharmaceutical substances, and you have promoted to and through all of we the people, your product, through the trust, the trust, which is the violation, the breach of trust, consumer division, here we are again, okay? Because you have been able to do it, you can't do it anymore, okay? You need to change your stupid commercials. They are awful. They are awful. And they're not only awful, they're filled with encoding, okay, of what to invest in. All right, so there's a psychological breakdown of the confidence in a person's life when they watch television and look at your commercials. Your commercials depress people on your pharmaceuticals because you bring out one drug and then you tell us the drug that you think you should do, and then you've got all your list of side effects. Why in the heck would anybody want a depression medication that causes suicide? Dude, you guys have the death benefit, the eugenics agenda, and you want people to kill themselves, and you want people to die, okay? So somebody bigger than the pharmaceutical industry needs to be on these guys. And you better protect who you send out there. That's what I got to say about that. Okay, so let's go to the next story. Education, Harvard. Okay, now Harvard, in this story, the Department of Justice has subpoenaed documents of discrimination for enrollment. Okay. Now, again, I'm a forensic investigator, researcher of all of this, and I'm just going to say that the Ivy League colleges, when you do the encoding there, it's in the investment of the royalty and the crown. Okay, so it's the investment of the crown, and it's the investment of the highest jurisdictions of the Vatican, and the yield spreads therein. So this goes back to money, believe it or not. The universities go back to money every single time. All right, follow the money. All right. Now, what do they do when a person enrolls into any of the universities, any of the colleges? They covertly, especially the oldest colleges and universities, they covertly attach to the perpetuity, which is the last name of that person. They attach to that. They offer them an education, but the education has an agenda. Okay? And what is going on with the agenda is that they feed them this privileged pie in the sky kind of, thing, but they don't tell them what is really happening. When you get a diploma anywhere, it is a financial face value instrument. If you turn it over, you'll see a little key, a little lock on it. That is evidence that it is a security instrument and it is being traded on the stock market. Okay? It has a lot of face value. When a person wants their diploma at a job, we want to see your diploma, we want to get a copy of that, and they enforce that where they just demand that. You can't have that job unless you show them and give them an original copy of your diploma. Yeah, you've just given them that perpetuity value to go attach to, and they're usually Delaware corporations. So what you see here is an equal status. Department of Justice is asking for documentation to do an investigation on equal status, and they're keeping, they're keeping the focal point on that. But I am telling you that is a distraction, okay? Harvard only attaches, and all of these Ivy League schools only attach to those elite perpetuity surnames. If you bring them into these other ones, and you have them do an equal status on all across the board, they want to know there's money on those names. They know which names have money. Vanderbilt, all that. They know all these names that have money. But you have Congress, House of Representatives, our president, when we do this wealth transfer, there is going to be now money on names that they have never seen really how, where to find that, okay? And there's a lot of exploitation there because the Mexican Americans, the Native Americans, the Spanish, all of these perpetuities have been rejected because of the eugenics agenda. But again, we go back to the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry. If you will quash that eugenics agenda and quash this entire idea that we have some that are superior than others, then you are going to see incredible, incredible profit margins and ROI. Okay, so Harvard, where this needs to switch inside of you is that you need to open up a brand new respect for all human life, number one. Number two, you need to have the courage to promote sovereignty in all of your curriculum and all therein. There is so much with that, and you will find yourself prospering, and you'll find your enrollments up, and you will find your graduation stats go up because you have gotten on a page of integrity and stopped a lot of this aristocratic preferences and privileges that you're totally, and these are becoming attorneys that do nothing but really lie a lot, and that needs to be totally brought under a very strict, what is going on behind this attorney-client privilege that is given by the Bar Association. Okay. Again, Harvard, I challenge you to have a higher level of respect to facilitate the truth. I challenge you to have a responsibility to facilitate a research that is founding of America, of the Ivy League objectives. At the very, very beginning, I want you to go back and look. What are the original objectives? Not the ones you tell everybody, but what are they really with the Delaware corporations and the Delaware structures? And get reevaluated on that. I challenge you to a vision for integrity. I challenge you to hold fast to excellence, honor, loyalty to integrity, and transparency of contract. When they enroll, you tell them you will be getting a diploma that has got a face value on it, okay? And you will be disclosing the actual value of the student when they're done. From the time that they go in, what is their value, and the time they come out, they do have a diploma, but a lot of people don't even work a job who have a diploma because you guys have totally botched it, okay? The other thing I want to challenge you to is to abolish all slavery objectives. Abolish all slavery objectives. And this is where the Department of Justice can come in and say absolutely. Okay. All right, our last, my last story, I'm at 31 minutes, okay. Jesuit, okay. Now, the Jesuit, there's a serial killer that was just apprehended, and the names of the people that he killed, last names, surnames, perpetuity names, Felton. If you look at Felton, okay, their name is listed as one of the first in the group of founding Delaware perpetuity founders, Felton. And I didn't know that, but I married Felton, Philip Kurt Felton. And he died recently. He just recently died. And so there's that name. There's Hoffa, H-O-F-F-A, which is one of the top crime, mob, gangster families, I believe, of Chicago, possibly. Okay. And then Mitchell. Mitchell is also of my perpetuity, Michael. Mitchell, Michael. So there's some, you know, the Jesuit order is an order that has been obligated by oath to fulfill life for life, okay? They recruit people, especially exploited people, like the poverty people, the people that have been in poverty forever, the people that have been slaves forever, these races that have been in subjugation. They go in and they find people there, and they are the ones that take the rap for a lot of this blood oath stuff, okay? Now, there's a story, the last story, which was about Honda, and Honda is engineering prosthetics, okay? So you got an automobile industry out of Japan manufacturing prosthetics by their engineers, looking, you know, here in America. My grandson was killed recently my unborn grandson in my youngest daughter's womb was recently killed in a Honda in Texas. The engineering of these arms and prosthetics coming out of a Honda engineering team of this automotive industry is another Jesuit move. Okay? When you do the decoding on Honda, you see that it's from the top down an air talent attachment. The talent acquisition is a formula for that particular sector on that particular product. And if there's engineering going on by humans, they are attaching to that talent acquisition. In the center point of Honda is the network of the automotive industry. And if you're coming in from the bottom up, there's an account deposit, which is the actual purchasing of the automobile itself. Okay, so there's a lot of predatory, strategic, spaces going on from the Jesuit order, which is coming out of Papa Francisco's Vatican order of priests. Okay, and I'm telling you, if you look at that oath, it's a blood oath. And I am saying again, Papa Francisco, please bring forward a truce completely on this. God, Jesus Christ, has paid the price from a supernatural bloodline of heaven, okay? And he has said, please, you can do this. Papa Francisco, you can bring a truce, a peace. This is a dispensation of grace, and it supersedes all other oaths, okay? This dispensation of grace breaks all curses, supersedes all oaths, right? You know that's true. Okay. So these are the follow-ups that I wanted to bring forward. There is a Eros. I want to go back because I do have a little bit more time. And I did a video of the structures of love based in ecclesiastical jurisdiction. And the hierarchies of love. At the very top is agape love. It's the love that God brings to us every single day. That is amazing quantum depths and breadths and heights and lengths and unmeasurable love. It's amazing love. And that is the love that God wants to manifest. All these doomsday stuff, yeah, it's secondary to the primary, which is Jesus' love that he has so abundantly wanting us to get a hold of right now and have a rebirth of our faith in that love for us and all therein, which is nothing but blessing, incredible blessing and forgiveness of sins, okay? So that is the very top love. The middle love is a brotherly love. It's called Philehos love. It is. You can see that in Philadelphia, the word Philadelphia. Philehos love, brotherly love, and that's the reciprocity love. That's the contract love, reciprocity love. And then when you get married, all three of these loves should be working in your lives when you get married, and make that holy bond of matrimony together. That you have this sacrificial love of agape, where you're just fueled with this love. You know, my husband's parents have been married over 65 years, and you should see their love. It's just absolutely amazing. And there is just a giving every day, a sacrificial giving by his dad to his mom because she's fit, she's declining, and but she's a strong soldier. She's hanging in there, and she's of the royalty of Spain, the vicar of Spain. My husband's family is totally that royal bloodline of Spain, I watch them, and I'm just blown away at the love that they've established over 65 years. So this so we at the very top is your agape, then your philehos love, your brotherly love, your brother and sisterly love right there. And that is the reciprocity care of contract that God wants to bring us into. And then below that is eros, which is all of the sexual love that is supposed to be a sacred love, but our society in America has allowed so much perversion to be infiltrated in that love, which perversion is not love, okay? It's Satan's counterfeit, And he is inciting all kinds of abuse in this sector of pornography, of sexual trafficking, of prostitution, of all of the revenues that are derived out of this perverted interpretation of intimacy. So what God wants to do is he wants to get America to clean up her act with this sector of eros love, because it is such a powerful thing. Men are hardwired by God, designed by God to be visual orientated, visually aroused. They don't even need to be near the person. The person doesn't even need to be real, I guess. You know, I'm not a guy, so it's an interesting dynamic. But when how men are wired, it is a visual thing. So God does need us as women to have not our heads covered from head to toe, our whole bodies covered in a black shroud, but God is requiring women to be queens of elegance and beauty without giving away herself and just finding this this whole exploitation to be acceptable. It's never acceptable. God doesn't hold it acceptable, and it's not acceptable to have that. Women are what men want to look at, but women need to walk in a dignity, in a grace that doesn't have anything to do with slavery, and walk in a dignity and a grace of beauty that isn't revealing everything, okay? Because it doesn't help you, sweetie pie. It doesn't help you, okay? Men, there is a strength if you will get away from pornography. There is a strength if you will get away from that mentality of perversion. There is an innocence that God wants to restore to your spirit that is so valuable in your marriage. Okay? So I want to bring that to you. Alrighty, guys. I love you. I believe in you. As far as these tax issues are concerned, you guys, if you implement any more tax whatsoever, you need to have a zero tolerance for tax, because it is attached to slavery. You need to believe in tribute. And I know you see no evidence. How are we going to depend on tribute? Nobody's thankful for anything. Well, that's because you dropped the ball. That's because you dropped the ball. So we need structures to promote thankfulness, and that's not difficult to do. Okay? No tax. Zero. We've been doing tax for 300 years, and we're done with tax. Okay? And it should be done all over the world, and you should reestablish all countries to give back in tribute. Not out of monarchy tribute, but there is a royalty in all of us that needs to be identified. Okay? And thankful for. All right. I love you guys. Bye-bye.